Hey guys, Chris here. Once again, we find ourselves outside here, TS Autosalg AS here in Fredrikstad, because these guys actually have a car in stock and for sale, a car that a lot of you guys have been asking for a long time, the Volvo V70, the previous generation, or they don't make a V70 before anymore. But this V70 was succeeded by the V90, and this is actually a highly requested car. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys a quick look at the exterior, the interior, and then a quick test drive at the end of the video. So starting off with the exterior, this is last generation Volvo exterior design, and it really shows it was still pretty at the time, and it is still pretty today. This design, though being, what is this now, 11 or 10 years old, still looks very pretty and very clean in my opinion. You have Volvo's old logo there in the middle. You have Volvo's old, grille design and their old headlight design. Very simple, very elegant, and that's why it's aged very well. This car has xenon headlights, it does look like, and then it has halogen, high beams there on the inside. And then down there you have a fog light, and then you have this faux grille cover here, and you actually have a proper grille there in the middle below the license plate. Over to the side, this car has a very simple yet elegant 5-spoke wheel design on 17-inch wheels on Michelin premises. 3 tires, classic Volvo, classic for the period, the late 2000s. And this color actually is a brown goldish metallic, actually a very pretty exterior color. Moving over to the side of the car, you have door body painted handles there for the door release. You have also body painted wing mirrors with the indicators there on the side. You have this chrome bit running all the way around, the windows from the A pillar all the way over to the D pillar. This is a 2008 model. This is not a new car. It's done 114,000 kilometers, but for being that old, it does look very pretty, and it's actually been kept really well in my opinion. You also have these chrome satin here roof rails which sit very nicely, giving the car just a very nice and elegant exterior look. Just classic Volvo for the period. Still looks good today in my opinion. My neighbor actually drives the same car. If you've seen me on Instagram, I actually posted my XC90 with his V70. If you haven't, check out me in my Instagram in description down below. The lower part of the door here also more body painted plastic bits, not too much to write home about. And then you have Volvo's classic rear deck design, which they've actually moved away from now because this rear section is just actually completely flat, but that gives a massive load space for luggage. And you also have that classic Volvo rear light design, which goes all the way from the top of the roof and then down across the belt line of the car. There you have V70 badging. This is a 2.4 liter diesel. This actually is a 5-cylinder with 163 brake horsepower or 163 horsepower. And then you have that classic Volvo badging with the space leathers there on the rear, which they still do today. Let's see if we can open up the trunk here without the wheels falling out, and actually you can see how huge this trunk is, because you have space for all the winter tires in the rear of the trunk. You don't even have to put the back seat down, and that is quite impressive because this isn't the biggest car on the exterior. Normal for the period, a manual lift gate which closes manually. Super reliable, really nice thunk. So that's about the exterior styling. Not too much. It is a simple design, Scandinavian design, but it does still work, and it's very simple yet very nice, and it has aged very well in my opinion. So before we go over to the interior, just want to show you guys the key design of this V70. This is typical Volvo of the period, a plastic key with their old logo there on the back. and then you have buttons here on the front. This car doesn't have keyless go or keyless entry, but it does have remote entry, so press here to lock, and it actually has folding wing mirrors. And that is impressive for being this time period of car, because even luxury cars today don't have that. That A7 I drove didn't have that. So press to unlock, the door mirrors do unfold, and then showing off the interior. And typical of Volvo then is the simple design language. So you have this very simple door design with soft padded plastics up top. This isn't of the same quality as their materials today. And then you have this this is actually plastic, this foam metallic trim. And then on the inside here you have something that feels like faux leather. And then you actually have faux leather here on the armrest. Though softly padded, it does feel nice enough. Here you have actually that feels like a metal grab handle or door release, but might be plastic, but it does feel like metal, so we're gonna go with metal. And then you have the window controls here, very simple. This is in a time where Volvo wasn't, you know, the true luxury car manufacturer as they are today. They were more of a premium manufacturer, you know, competing with Acura, Infiniti, and, you know, the Japanese premium brands. Down low here you have soft padded plastics, and then on the inside here you have this it's not soft, it's soft to the feel, but it is hard, this plastic here. And you can hear me knocking there. It doesn't sound very high quality, but you know, it is fine enough. And actually impressively enough, you have carpet on the inside of the door pocket. Here you have the woofer, non-branded audio system, and then you have the tweeter up there. So you probably have a mid-range speaker also behind this speaker grill. Volvo badging there on the door sill, wishing you welcome. This car has power adjustable seats with 3 memory settings, and the memory settings there instead of on the door where they have it today. And then you have Volvo's typical seat design of the 2000s. This is a cushy, a very comfortable, a really nice seat to sit in with their integrated headrests that you can't adjust in the height. Doesn't look like. And you actually have very nice and very soft leather. This isn't Napa leather, but it is still very soft. And you have almost this croc pattern here, crocodile pattern on the inserts, though this leather feels smoother this on the outside. And this being a 10-year-old car that has done, you know, 114,000 kilometers, has aged quite well, though you can see you have some wear and tear here on the side. You don't have too much support here, so let's go ahead and step inside the cabin. And I haven't been in a V70 maybe 5 or 6 years was the last time I actually rented one. And the interior design is also very simple, very elegant, and that means it's aged very well. Up top here you have this injected mold plastic on top of hard touch. You can hear that doesn't sound to be of the highest quality, though it is nice enough. It is semi-soft to the touch, but I'm actually a bit disappointed about the quality of this piece of plastic here. And also the same here, this is just very thinly, almost laminated with something that's reminiscent of something soft. So I wouldn't call actually any of these soft touch plastics. They don't qualify. Let's go ahead to show you guys the steering wheel design. Very simple 4-spoke steering wheel design with their, you know, these buttons actually were still in the previous generation V60 I didn't drive, or V40 I actually had a few months ago. And very nice and very simple. I do like Volvo's current designs of the buttons, but also their previous button design also is very nice, very simple to use. And why won't the camera focus? That's just very annoying. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Leather covered, and yeah, this car is 10 years old, done 114,000 kilometers, so it does it has aged. Inside here we have, you know, Volvo's gauge cluster of the period. It has 2 analog gauges there, speed and the tach, and then you actually have, let's turn on the ignition here. Well, we have to insert the key, and not my XC90 key, wrong key. You insert it here, and then The ignition is on if we press the button there without the foot on the pedal, and blowing cold air, that is quite nice actually. You have two LCD screens showing time, and then you have the mileage of the car. You can see there 114,000 kilometers, and you probably have more functions here that I don't know how to yeah, there you have. Okay, you have different functions there. Yeah, you actually have, not easy to show you guys, but you can control it from the stock. Here you have buttons. Not going to show you that more in depth. Here you have, you know, that same, you know, faux metallic or faux metal trim, which actually is plastic. Here you have that's still that same laminated over hard plastics. It's nice enough to the touch, but I'm not impressed by that. And here you have that more of that smooth plastics Volvo have. It is reminiscent of what Volvo have in the center console on the XC90 today, but this isn't as nice as that. But here you also have, you know, very simple design. It's not too intimidating, very rectangular, kept simple. Volvo's old climate controls also, I think, look very nice, very simple, very straightforward. You know, you understand what head, torso, and legs are. You have this very simple, and simple is the theme here, because this is a 10-year-old car. It doesn't have navigation, even this car. A very simple monochrome radio there, AM, FM. It is a CD player, probably doesn't have an aux input, this car. And you also have buttons here for the phone. You have a volume knob here, which is also very welcome. Tuning, sound here, settings, and then you have the climate control here, which is actually really nice. Why don't they just do this in new Volvos? This is just very nice, very simple. Just two simple knobs like that. That's what I want in my XC90, and just show the temperature on the screen. That would be very welcome, because I always do prefer, you know, physical buttons to touch buttons. And you have the rest of your, you know, climate control buttons there. This actually is a 6-speed manual, and here we have two rather large cup holders, and you have some storage there, and then you also have, you know, this storage thing behind the dashboard here, which I find quite useless. I've talked about this several times before. I think this is one of the most useless pieces of storage compartment, and actually, in my opinion, the storage in this car isn't that impressive. You have you actually have a quite large center storage here, so this does, you know, improve the storage of this car quite a bit. But, you know, place to put your phone, loose items, key, stuff like that, it's not impressive. You have this small thing here, and that's about it. You have a 12-volt port. So that was the front cabin. This is you know, frameless mirror designs. This car doesn't have a sunroof, so nothing to show you guys in the roof. Show you guys the rear seat quickly. This is what it looks like, and yeah, same you know, materials as you have on the front doors. This softly padded stuff here, this plastic chrome trim, and then faux leather on the inserts, faux leather on the armrest, window controls. And I actually have a quite large storage bin back here in the rear seat. That is actually quite impressive, if you ask me. Step inside here. This seat is almost put all the way back, and I do have plenty of knee room. This car actually is quite huge on the interior for not being the largest car on the exterior. You actually have heated seats here on an 08 model, and you also have a 12-volt port. They're actually quite impressive, and these rear seats are, these old Volvo seats are so cushy and so nice. I wouldn't mind spending, you know, a lot of hours back here on a long road trip. And let's see if we can open the armrest. Is there an armrest? Isn't there an armrest? There is. No. There actually isn't a center armrest. In this car, you only have an adjustable center headrest. That is actually quite disappointing. So, sat in the driver's seat, guys. We're just going to take a quick test drive here, because I actually don't have a lot of time. I actually only have like 5 minutes, and my girlfriend's going to kill me for getting home late. Sorry, babe. YouTube duties. So, first time driving this car. Close the window so we don't get too much noise. 6-speed manual. handbrake over here on this side. I actually forgot to show you guys, but the handbrake over here on the left side. And let's just take this for a quick drive. And these old Volvos, as I remember them, Volvo in the past weren't aware of sport. Sportiness just didn't exist at Volvo. And that shows with this car, because this car is just so soft and smushy. It's not dynamic at all. Yes, I've been driving an M4 recently, all day actually, and this does feel very different than an M4. It's just so actually, it's just so smooth. And this diesel, actually, Volvo bring back the 5-cylinder diesel because it's so much better than the 4-cylinder you're making today. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I don't like that. I don't like that engine at all. It's just so noisy, so unrefined. But this thing actually makes a nice sound. And I drove this same engine 3 years ago, maybe, before I took delivery of my XC90, my previous one, the D4, and was actually quite impressed by that engine. And I am, yeah, this is also quite impressive. And this car is just so soft and spongy. It might be because I just jumped out of that M4, but that M4 was actually quite impressively refined and actually softly sprung and stuff like that, adaptive dampers. So I just think this is just set up very softly, this car. And let's see if we can get a gap here in the roundabout, because I am already late. Okay. Guys, I have to revisit this car at a later point, because wow, this is, it feels, I mean this in the best way possible. It almost feels like an old American car, right? An old Lincoln or an old Cadillac. It just wafts, it's just smooth, it's just, but you know, the interior doesn't match the ride quality, in my opinion. Can we go take a right here? Or is it the next? It is the next exit. I'm actually quite impressed, guys. It isn't sporty at all. The steering is so soft, so vague. The transmission is so soft, so vague, and so are the pedals, and so is the power delivery. But at the same time, that's what you want, right? That's what you want from this car. You want quietness, smoothness. This car was really true to old Volvo. I do like new Volvo a lot, but, well, would I pick this over a 5 Series, an E-Class, something like that? Maybe not, but at the same time, it doesn't cost as much, right? And at the same time, I think this is much more, at least more comfortable than an A6 and a 5 Series from the time. And Mercedes E-Class has always been very comfortable, but wow, I'm actually quite impressed by this car. I wouldn't mind driving this every day. And this diesel engine, guys, this diesel is so smooth and so quiet. Why don't they bring back the 2.5 liter 5-cylinder diesel? Come on, Volvo, please. So there you go, guys. That was my quick drive, my quick exterior and interior look at this, the 2008 Volvo V70. And I'm actually quite impressed by this car. I have to revisit this car at a later point and give you guys a proper review. But for now, that's what I had time for. Time to go home. There's my XC90. So if you like this video, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, guys, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.